Hello lovelies, I mean lovely plus squad homies. Welcome back to Anime Plus Recap. We all had communication problems with our crushes at some point, or were too virgin to even try speaking to them. Y'all, I'm not attacking you. We all in this together. Today we recap something similar named Words Bubble Up Like Soda Pop. That sure hell is a long name. Spoilers ahead. The movie starts off with Koichi Yu Sakura, or known by his nickname, Cherry, who is a shy boy who has trouble communicating with people. He only writes haiku poems to express his feelings. Yuki, named online as Smile, also has the same problem as Cherry. She is obsessed with being an online influencer. Both of them go to the large shopping mall named Oda Nouvelle Mall in their town. Cherry supervises the elderly Mr. Fujiyama, who has been looking at an album of the beautiful girl next to a radio station on it titled Yamazakura. Reads several haiku around outside of the mall. Cherry tries to catch Mr. Fujiyama's attention and they go to the mall. Meanwhile, in the mall, Yuki starts doing online videos of herself, with cute things happening at the mall. A boy named Japan gets scammed by the gacha machine with a fake Hikaru figurine and throws a tantrum about it. His partner Beaver steals the cutout of Hikaru in order to please Japan, but ends up attracting the attention of the security guards and Motopuri, the mall's manager. Motopuri pursues Beaver while he causes chaos throughout the mall. He bumps into Cherry and Yuki, who both end up switching up their smartphones. As Cherry and Yuki get back up, her mask accidentally falls off, exposing her braces to Cherry, who cluelessly eavesdrops on her and says braces. She runs away from him and storms out of the mall, embarrassed. Beaver ends up severing the head of the Hikaru cutout in the process before Motopuri tries to subdue him. Cherry and Mr. Fujiyama return to a place the former works at, a care center for the elderly in the mall. Mr. Fujiyama is asked by workers there whether he found the record for the album he keeps looking at but walks away, indicating that he never found it. Mr. Fujiyama angrily recites a haiku he managed to memorize while going to the mall at Cherry, but later says it calmly at Cherry's urging. They both talk about the intricateness of haikus. When Cherry tries to convince Mr. Fujiyama to keep his voice down, Mr. Fujiyama raises his voice again while pretending not to hear what Cherry said. Mr. Fujiyama is later picked up by his grandson, Towboy, who was hunting down Beaver for vandalizing on his car. Towboy calms down when he sees Mr. Fujiyama, who he calls Akiko-san, but gets angry and blames Cherry for the vandalism when the latter tries to read what the graffiti says. Cherry denies any wrongdoing and Tough Boy leaves with Mr. Fujiyama. After his shift at the caring center, Cherry sees another graffiti, but it was a haiku instead of a catchphrase. Yuki, walking back home while on a path next to a rice field, rants about Cherry saying braces to her until realizing that her mask was gone. Yuki checks her smartphone only to see that it had a dictionary in it, and wonders who owns this phone, later realizing that she accidentally switched it with Cherry back at the mall. She worries about what happened to her lost phone and frantically continues running back home. Cherry climbs to the top of one of the mall's parking structure elevator shafts from the roof deck of the parking structure and finds a graffiti-written den belonging to a boy named Japan. Beaver tries to cheer him up with the now severed head of the Hikaru cutout, impersonating her as he got a fake Hikaru gacha toy back in the mall. But Japan ends the deal and gets angry with him for not bringing the cutout back intact. Beaver apologizes to Cherry for what happened earlier, and Cherry tells Beaver that Towboy was looking for him. Yuki returns home and asks her sisters Marie and Julie to help her look for her phone. Back at the mall, Beaver continues writing haikus on the floor of their den. The haikus were revealed to have been made by Cherry. Beaver tells Japan that he is using Cherry's haikus to learn Japanese, but Japan tells Beaver that he speaks it just fine. The only problem he had was writing it. He also states his father can only write in Spanish. Cherry tells Beaver that he is tagging all of his own haikus all over the mall. Beaver also said to him that he also tagged more of his haikus on the apartment building. Cherry tells him to stop tagging property as he calls it embarrassing. Cherry later corrects him that they are haikus, not rhymes. Cherry tries to make a haiku out of his mouth while watching the evening sunset. Cherry pulls out his phone only to realize that he also switched it with someone else. That someone else was Yuki, the girl with braces he saw back at the mall. Meanwhile, back at Yuki's house, Marie locates where Yuki's phone is on her computer. Yuki continues worrying about her phone, saying that she'll die. Julie tells her to call back instead, so Yuki stays home. Beaver asks Cherry if he grabbed the wrong phone. Cherry tells Beaver he got the wrong phone when they ran into each other. Suddenly, Cherry gets a call from Yuki's phone from Yuki's sister Julie. Cherry, indecisive, is told by Japan to pick up the call. Beaver ends up answering it for him. Yuki is the one talking on the phone. Another person accidentally ends up starting a video call with them. Yuki is embarrassed again since she lacks her mask and puts one on to cover her buck teeth. Both Yuki and Cherry see each other on the phone, but Japan interrupts their conversation by saying the online catchphrase of Yuki's alter ego Smile, revealing that he is a Smile fan as well. Julie abruptly hangs up the call due to embarrassment. Julie wonders what was that while Mary finds out that the person who blocked the camera was one of their viewers. Julie says that the boy was too intense for her taste. Back at the mall, Japan screams with excitement that he talked with Smile on their call. Beaver asks who is Smile, and Japan replies that she is a famous high school online influencer. Japan asks Cherry if he knows her, only for Cherry to reply with a no. Japan shouts at Cherry for missing out and yells that Smile has accumulated 1 million views on an online video app. Yuki calls Cherry again one more time, only for Cherry to get shy and nervous again. Cherry apologizes that what Japan said wasn't directed at her and apologizes sheepishly. The next day, Yuki returns to the mall with her sisters for dessert and get her phone back. The way Yuki eats in public is that she covers her mouth to avoid showing her buck teeth. The sisters are puzzled. They ask why she is eating like that and ask whether it is a trend or not. Yuki tells them to mind their own business. Meanwhile, Cherry handles a poetry inspiration activity for the elderly with Ms. Miyuki. The workers clean up the care center while they are away. With the Obon break ending soon, the care center is forced to find a new part-timer to have at least 4 workers since Cherry will no longer work there starting on the 17th of August. The boss of the care center is worried when she sees this on the shift schedule. Meanwhile, the elderly in the poetry inspiration activity go around the mall to get inspiration for writing poems. Mr. Fujiyama, meanwhile, is standing on the roof deck of the parking structure still, holding on to that same album. Julie, meanwhile, asks if Yuki being seen with fans is bad. Marie replies that she can become a mecha girl because it's popular, but Yuki says no. Cut to a flashback of Yuki, her parents, and her sisters doing online videos at such a young age. Julie says her buck teeth was always her best feature since she was young. Yuki agrees reluctantly. Marie says it's cute, and the viewers loved it as well. Marie says her smile looks like a beaver, but she says she isn't one. Cut to another flashback. Yuki looks into the mirror, now analyzing her buck teeth, then frantically searches for disposable face masks to cover her buck teeth. Yuki later replies that her buck teeth is no longer cute anymore for her age. Julie calls her a teenager for saying that. Cherry continues supervising the elderly across the mall until he stops and Yuki looks at him, with the sisters surprised seeing the guy who was on their call in person. Yuki and her sisters wonder what he is doing with Ms. Miyuki, mistakenly saying that he is into more mature types. Then Julie assumes he has a girlfriend despite looking unsociable. Julie also assumes they are siblings, but Marie says that they don't look related at all. Yuki runs toward Cherry, with her 2 sisters giggling about it. Cherry sends a written haiku online and scrolls over other people's comments. His comment gets a like from a person named Maria, and he gets twitchy. Ms. Miyuki asks the elderly to present the haiku they have written. Yuki and her 2 sisters are eavesdropping on the activity. Julie thinks Ms. Miyuki is a teacher and Marie wonders what are they doing. Mr. Fujiyama gazes at the eavesdropping Yuki and her sisters, but he goes back to writing his haiku, before submitting it to Ms. Miyuki, who would recite the poems. When Ms. Miyuki proceeds to the next poem, she calls Cherry as it is his haiku. To Cherry, Ms. Miyuki had the paper strip upside down and tells Cherry to recite his own haiku for them. Cherry is shocked. Ms. Miyuki interprets his reaction as a no, but Cherry replies nervously that reading in front of people is not really his style since he is shy. Ms. Miyuki encourages him and he turns red when all of the elderly agree, sighing. Ms. Miyuki encourages him to read his haiku to him with his wonderful voice. Cherry looks toward Mr. Fujiyama and gulps. Cherry tries his best to read his haiku as much as he can. The elderly people couldn't really listen. Ms. Miyuki encourages Cherry to say it a bit louder. Cherry struggles until he takes a deep breath and reads his own haiku at a tone which the elderly people can finally hear him. They applaud him for trying his best. Meanwhile, Yuki and her 2 sisters are still eavesdropping on Cherry. Cherry says to the elderly the haiku is a written art form, meaning it doesn't have to be read aloud. Ms. Miyuki agrees. Ms. Miyuki says that some scenes can only be conveyed when read aloud. Cherry replies that it still gets across even without being read aloud. Suddenly, Mr. Fujiyama yells another haiku, much to the surprise of the others, and refers to the girl in the mask who is eavesdropping on them, then repeats it in a calm voice. The girls suddenly start panicking and Cherry gazes at them before they calm down. Outside the mall, Cherry and Yuki walk home together on the path next to the rice field, with Yuki asking whether he is a year older than her. Cherry replies, thinking that he himself is a year older than her. Yuki finally sees why he is named Cherry, as in cherry blossoms, translated from their Japanese word sakura. He replies, thinking Cherry is a cute name. Yuki doesn't know whether to call him Mr. Cherry or just Cherry. Yuki asks what he is listening to. Cherry, surprised, replies by saying he's always disliked loud sounds and is not actually listening to anything, using the headphones as an improvised earplug to get past people who want to talk to him. Yuki is impressed by how ingenious he is regarding his shyness. They continue walking and Cherry starts another conversation with Yuki, asking why is there a dictionary attached to his phone. Cherry says it is a Sajiki, a dictionary used for writing haikus. He also says there is an app version as well, but he says he prefers the book more. He also says haikus help him express things in words better. He also says he sometimes uploads his own haikus online. Yuki replies that it all makes sense to her that his haikus will be looked at more. Cherry continues scrolling over his haikus that were uploaded online, having lesser followers than Smile herself. When Cherry presses the number of his followers, he sees Japan and Beaver. Depressed at having not a lot of friends, he is disappointed that not many people read his haikus. Yuki asks whether they comes out easily, with Cherry replying that they mostly come out on good days. Cherry continues scrolling over his phone, then leaves it on his bed to show the haiku Yuki requested for. He stands up and roams around his room and takes a folded moving box, a toolbox, and his daruma and starts packing up long before the day he'll move out. Cherry's mom is cooking for dinner and hurts her back when she tries to reach for something. Her husband returns home. Cherry asks his dad whether he can put the box over there, and his dad agrees. The dad questions if it is a little too early to start packing, saying that they'll not be moving until next month. The mom says they are better off packing early rather than running around last minute anyway. His father asks him why he's in such a hurry, to which Cherry replies, every place is the same for him as long as he has his phone. Meanwhile, Yuki finds Cherry's haiku at dinner table, excitingly leaving a like. Cherry, upon seeing someone else like his post other than his mom, gets excited, while through Smile's account her sister spams likes on Cherry's post, giving him the idea of following her back. As he does, both of them blush. Throughout time, both begin to chat, while Cherry interestingly saw most of Yuki's live streams and spent most of their time together at the care center. They practice for the upcoming festival. Later they drop Mr. Fujiyama at his record shop, where he reveals that he listens to Yamazakura record the most, almost over and over, and ends up crying, wishing to have remembered it and be able to hear it again. Cherry, despite knowing his time is almost up to move out, still promises Mr. Fujiyama that him and Yuki will find the record. Suddenly, Mr. Fujiyama faints to exhaustion. Yuki wonders about the reason why Fujiyama has been looking for this specific record desperately, then notices Cherry not having his headphones on, to which he responds that he doesn't need them at the moment. Cherry and Yuki do their best to search and find Yamazakura record, but all their efforts in vain to find it in the mall. Japan tells them that it might not be a record but be a picture disc instead. Yuki uses her live stream to ask people if they know a picture disc named Yamazakura. Unfortunately, none of them knows about it. The other day they decide to go together to the same station on the record cover in hopes to find the source. They find a newspaper with a familiar face just as the record. Finding it online, they find out that the woman is none other than Fujiyama's wife, who used to sing and passed away after giving birth to their daughter. And the sole reason for opening the record shop was his wife. His daughter reveals that they're going to close that shop anyways. Yuki finally figures out the reason why Fujiyama wants to hear that record again so much, saying that he wants to hear his wife's voice again. Cherry asks to stay behind and help with the records, thinking that he may find the record here. Japan and Beaver also join to help out. One night Cherry posts a haiku saying, "Yamazakura, I like the leaves that you hide before they blossom," referring to Yuki's teeth. The shops is almost empty, but record was still nowhere to be found. Landing on the last record, which wasn't Yamazakura either, Fujiyama's daughter thanks them for trying, but Cherry doesn't give up and checks the out-of-order fridge and finds the disc lying beside it. With everyone waiting to finally hear the voice, Yuki asks Cherry on a fireworks date. Blushingly, he agrees and rushes to the room. Yuki notices the disc to be weighty and tries to straighten it, ending up breaking the disc. The other day, Yuki asks Cherry to accompany him to apologize to Fujiyama, as Cherry was about to reveal that he has to leave. Before festival, his mom interrupts the care center, already revealing his retirement. Yuki gets shocked and asks Cherry that for how long he's been keeping it. Cherry tries to apologize, but Yuki takes her leave. As the sounds again began to be heavy, he puts on his headphone and begins to cry. Meanwhile, Yuki tries to put together disc with a glue in her guilt but fails to. The sisters come together to console her. The other day, her parents reveal a yukata for the festival night. While Cherry's family is packing stuff up to move out, Yuki builds up her courage to hand over broken record, apologizing to Mr. Fujiyama. One of the co-workers notices the back of the record to be very familiar and points towards the hanging disc, which was assumed as a decoration piece, turned out to be another copy of the record. All of them excited to play it, but suddenly remembers how much Cherry wanted to hear it together with everyone, but it's his day of leave. Yuki asks everyone a favor. They decide to play Fujiyama's record instead of the music they practiced on for the festival. Yuki goes lit in order for Cherry to hear it. Cherry puzzled about what's going on. Mr. Fujiyama finally hears his wife's voice and suddenly remembers all the moments he spent with her. In the meantime, Beaver, finally using his habit for the good, leaves one of Cherry's haiku on the signboards, making him realize it's Yakuza record. Cherry makes his parents stop the car and runs to the festival and finds Mr. Fujiyama scream along one of Cherry's haiku, to which he runs up to him and builds enough courage to recite it himself, leaving his fear behind to sing in public. He sings along the haiku he wrote for Yuki in a way of confession that he likes her teeth in her. Yuki starts having tears of joy and then also removes the mask, smiling brightly at him, and then the movie ends here. Overall, the movie is relatable to many of us, where some fears really hold us back from what we really want, and this movie shows the struggles to overcome it. What anime you want us to recap next? Comment down below and make sure to subscribe.